Hello there, and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Lamp Classic Remastered. This time we're taking a look at the 1991 Nissan Pulsar GTi-R rally car. This is another one of the arcade mode rally cars, for which of course they are then bought into GT2 Plus, where you can acquire them in career mode and then fully upgrade them. When maxed out, they are identical to the car that they're based on, so in this case this is essentially a race modded Pulsar GTi-R. The only difference is that this car can't have stage 3 weight reduction, so it has stage 2 weight reduction and the racing modification, which is a bit bizarre, but it basically means the weight difference is slightly in favour of this car, but not by much. The Nissan Pulsar GTi-R, one of my favourites from the Group A era of rallying, not a very successful car, but it was driven by some quite noticeable names, including Stig Blomqvist and a young Tommy Mäkinen got his start in this car, which is interesting. Ultimately, it'd be all for naught, and eventually Nissan would pull out of WRC in 1992, I believe, never to return, which is a bit of a shame really, because Nissan has a lot of sort of rally heritage, and they could really use some of that rallying heritage for, well, goodwill at the moment, because Nissan's on its knees, as we all know, and I mean, I'm only recording this, what, 3 days out from when it's getting uploaded, but Nissan could have gone broke by then, so who knows. Anyways, the original Pulsar GTi-R did quite well around this course. I'm expecting this to do roughly the same number, sort of in line with the 323 GTR rally car, which sort of came very, it was within 3,000th of its standard version, so yeah, I don't really see why this one would be too much different. Four-wheel drive, 420 horsepower, 1,124 kilograms. Pretty decent figures for a arcade mode rally car. 420 horsepower especially, for a car this size as well, is quite remarkable. Anyways, to find out how the Nissan Pulsar GTi-R gets along, it is going to get 6 laps off the Motorsports Land track in order to set the best time it possibly can. Our current leader is the Suzuki Escudo bike-speed version of that car, set a time of 25.696. The Pulsar GTi-R is unlikely to beat that. In terms of where this is going to go, the Nissan Pulsar GTi-R, sort of the normal car without the race mod, set a time of a 29.748, so I guess 29.7 is sort of where this needs to be. From what I remember from the standard car, pretty nice controlled car to drive. It is one of my favourite starter cars in GT2, the Pulsar GTi-R. Everyone sort of seems to flock towards the Skylines and Sleekers, and I get it, and Supras, but the Pulsar for me is 29.657. There we go, hang on. Well, actually slightly above what I was expecting, but still. The Pulsar GTi-R for me is easily the most adaptable of all of the starter cars. You can really use this, you know, for low-end rallying. You can use it for demolishing the Sunday Cup with, four-wheel drive challenge. It will do with some upgrades. So yeah, it's one of my personal favourites for starting the game out with. I think actually pretty much every single time I've played through GT2, the base version anyway, recently, I've always gone for this as my first car. Yeah, I can definitely sort of feel little hints of understeer. Obviously it's not quite got the turn-in of something like an Impreza or an Evo, but then again the Pulsar never really would have done. So if you can get around that sort of understeer nature of this vehicle, it is incredibly nice to drive. Obviously no oversteer or anything like that. It is very nice over the bumps, it does have to be said as well. Nissans predominantly, to be fair, are very nice over the bumps. I'm not really sure what that's all about, whether that's some Polyphony favoritism or someone at Polyphony who really liked Nissans didn't know how to drive, so he made it so the Nissans are less bumpy when they get onto onto the grass. But yeah, that's honestly what it feels like. It feels very, very nice, very tight. Got caught out a little bit by the understeer there, but yeah, I think this is set pretty much where it would have gone. It's just one of those cars that you could get to its limit and, you know, very nicely sort of dawdle around that. And, yeah, it does quite well. It's good looking too. I kind of like the livery on this one. I don't think it was quite as purple as this in real life, but I think it really suits it in game. Yeah, for a guy who really does not like Nissans, and I assure you, I really don't like Nissans, this one, yeah, quite like it. It's quite cool. Yeah, easily one of my favourite sort of cars of its era. And also it was called the Sunny in the UK, which is funny because my aunt had a Sunny. It wasn't a GTi-R, I'll tell you that. According to that, there's a little bit of time in there in Sector 2. If I'd put that lap together, I still think I would have ended up right around 29.5. Yeah, I'm sure if you go round and round and round, you could probably crack away at that 29.5, but I think you'd ultimately sort of stay in that vicinity when it comes to this car. So, yeah, but no, good time overall for, again, a reasonably good car. 29.592 will place this into a very respectable 141st place. Goes in between the Lister Storm V12 and the Mitsubishi Galant VR4. So it's quicker than a Galant, quicker than an R33 with no race mod, quicker than an R32 V-Spec 2, quicker than the Toyota Caldina GTT, and the standard road-going Evo 3. It should be mentioned the Evo 3 rally car is like 0.3 up the road from this, but still pretty impressive. I mean, in terms of the stuff it loses out to, it's all the stuff you'd relatively expect it to. The Subaru Impreza, Ford Escort, Delta HF Integrale Evoluzione, the Forester. Yeah, in one word, good. There's not really a lot to say about it, to be honest with you, because it's just a good car with a ridiculous rear wing, as I'm noticing. Looks like the tongue on a trainer. Interesting. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you all very much for watching. Join me next time when I'll be driving something completely different. Until then, oh well.